Because criminal activities have gone across borders, so must we respond in unison with purpose and conviction. Over the past 10 years, we have developed strong ties at the officials level and also among the various law enforcement agencies. The challenge for SOMTC in the next decade is to move beyond its current parameters and build shared operational processes and mechanisms to effectively check the spread of transnational criminal groups. In other words, it is time for us to sharpen the sword and take the fight to the syndicates on the ground. Allow me to share 3 thoughts on how the efforts of SOMTC can be given even more focus. First, fundamental to law enforcement efforts is to have a deep understanding of the operating region. Each member state has to develop a comprehensive picture of the drivers and levels of transnational crime in their own countries based on a common set of definitions and methodologies. In my view, 3 particular areas should receive priority: drug trafficking, trafficking in persons, and economic crime. By sharing information on these offences within trusted forums, we will be able to develop a good map of drivers and activities within states. And over time, we will have a much clearer picture of crime trends across the entire ASEAN region. This will, in turn, allow us to consider what interventions should be necessary to make a difference on the ground. We should be prepared to take bold steps, including the possibility of setting up bilateral or multilateral joint investigation teams to tackle crimes which are committed across borders. As a regional bloc, we would also have suitable indicators reflecting the efforts of all SOMTC members, allowing us to diagnose more reliably where our limited resources should be invested. Dialogue partners can also propose initiatives in this area. One possible stretch target is to have a set of crime maps which will allow us to address difficult questions on the relations between different types of crime, such as whether there's a nexus between international terrorist groups and organized crime cartels. Second, SOMTC should tap on other regional or international enforcement networks which have expertise in particular areas of interest to member states. Security cooperation should not just exist within ASEAN, but also extend to external partners. We should benchmark ourselves against international standards and strengthen our cooperation with international organizations that share a similar vision to us. Interpol, the foremost international police organization, is one such international organization. ASEAN police forces are among the 188 members of the Interpol family. SOMTC's engagement with Interpol will be greatly facilitated by the setting up of the Interpol Global Complex, or IGC, in Singapore. This Interpol Global Complex will focus on cutting-edge research on the identification of crimes and criminals. It will monitor the emergence of new technologies for their potential for criminal abuse and also for fighting crime. It will explore the innovative deployment of solutions such as biometrics and facial recognition, which could possibly help to establish them as international identification standards. With the IGC at our doorstep, law enforcement and security agencies in ASEAN will stand to benefit most from these new initiatives. In this regard, I would like to highlight that the President of Interpol and the Senior Deputy Secretary at the Ministry of Home Affairs in Singapore, Mr. Koo Boon Hui, is also present amongst us today. I welcome the participation of Interpol to share their perspective on international crime at this year's SOMTC. Finally, cyberspace. This issue deserves particular attention. Countries, including Singapore, must be more alive to the threats which come from the pervasive way we are using infocom technology today. Unfortunately, worldwide online connectivity means that criminals have more opportunities to exploit this connectivity for their activities. SOMTC has identified cybercrime as one of the transnational crimes of focus, and Singapore is the lead shepherd for this area. Just last month, an ASEAN cybercrime workshop was conducted in Singapore to equip ASEAN law enforcement officers with techniques in cybercrime investigations. Significantly, this workshop enabled each member state to chart a roadmap to build up their respective cybercrime investigations and enforcement capabilities. From identity theft to the crippling of cyber networks, the threat to our cybersecurity is real. I think all our countries will have faced some form or other of these threats in recent times. Collectively, SOMTC should move upstream and address the issue of how to keep our cyber networks secure and harden our critical Infocom infrastructure. SOMTC should also engage our dialogue partners to understand how other jurisdictions have empowered their laws and law enforcement agencies to deal with the threat to cybersecurity. The close and practical cooperation among ASEAN law enforcement and security agencies is a crucial advantage that we have in the fight against transnational crime. This cooperation is not just a matter of choice, it's a matter of necessity. Alone, we will not be able to overcome the new problems and challenge of transnational crime. But if we commit to working together, I'm confident that we will make ASEAN a much safer and more secure region for all our peoples. So have a fruitful and enjoyable meeting, and I wish you every success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, DPM sir.